Hey everyone, we have the entire GameXplain crew here to give our category awards for 2022. So we're doing something a little different this year. This time we're having everyone champion their own category along with a nomination. And if there's anyone who can test that, they're going to produce their own nominee as well. Then we'll vote on who the winner actually is. We haven't tried it before, should be fun hopefully, and let's just get right to it. Jake, I believe you have a category for us. What do you got?
That is right. I will be submitting for Best New Mechanic.
Oh boy.
And here it is, everybody. I dare you to challenge this. The best new mechanic of 2022. Read my fingers. That's right. The snap. The snap of Marvel Snap. Okay, okay? Marvel Snap, the snap. For the uninitiated, for the people that don't know, Marvel Snap is a 6-turn card game in which you progress up a competitive ladder, and how many points you progress up is determined by your snaps. So a game is only worth 1 level up on this ladder, but if during the game you snap, it says to your opponent, hey, I think I'm gonna win. And now this game is worth 2 points. And they can snap back and go, no, you're not gonna win, you jerk. I'm gonna win. And they snap. And now it's worth 4 points. And if you still think you're gonna win, you can snap again and make it worth a maximum of 8 points. It has no effect on the actual card game. It is half intimidation tactic and half gambling to make your way up a ladder that doesn't even mean anything. This mechanic is fantastic because it is a level of strategy and intrigue in a card game that is not a card, that is not part of the game. It is a mind game mechanic, and that is why it is my favorite new mechanic of 2022.
For some reason, that you explaining that reminded me of all the TikToks on my feed of like, do you want to do this task for this amount of money, or do you want to double it for the next person and see if they do it?
Oh my gosh!
All right, so Jake has put forth Marvel Snap for the category Best New Mechanic. Do we have someone who wants to contest that with one of their own nominees?
I'm sold on that one personally so far.
Okay, I love your enthusiasm, Jake. You lost me because there's just so much explaining to do. Here's something that's not only more easy to understand, but it's also adorable. Let's talk about mouthful mode in Kirby and the Forgotten Land. It's like they said, hey, how can Kirby keep sucking things up, but make it interesting? Mouthful mode. He puts his mouth over a car, he becomes the car. He puts his mouth over a vending machine, he becomes the vending machine, and thus the entire game is changed. It is a perfect evolution of Kirby's power, and I just can't see anything else beating Best New Mechanic. I can't.
Oh,
Rebuttal? Rebuttal?
Okay.
It's not a rebuttal for 2 points.
Joey, don't you feel that there's an unwritten rule that we do not talk about mouthful mode because it's a little awkward and strange?
It says the guy who's using a mechanic based on getting rid of half the population, so...
That's a good point. That's a good point. Okay, so I guess this is up to the jury of our peers, as long as there are no other challengers.
Are there any other challengers? Right, that's a question. Nope.
Okay.
All right, so it's between Marvel Snap and Kirby's mouthful mode. What do we think? Let's vote. So obviously, I think we know where Jake and Joey are landing on the issue. Triss, what do you think?
As much as I love Kirby, I think I have to go with the snap because the mind game really adds to the competitive nature of that. And Jake's whole explanation of it sold me on why it's a good idea.
How about you, Tom?
I feel that Marvel Snap is an excellent way to put a game in a game, while Kirby should be able to inhale anything really, and it's kind of a weakness to his power.
Oh, wow, interesting.
Okay.
Wow.
I'm sorry to say this, Joey. I guess I would Jake on this too. I enjoyed mouthful mode, but it's just one of those, kind of tacky, gimmicky type of things that pop up for a game and never reappear. I gotta give it to Jake. Jake sounds a little bit more interesting.
All right.
Snap,
Bye,
Joey!
Snap me! Jake snaps me! I'm gone!
Now, Jake, that means one day you're going to be sitting there waiting for every next Nintendo Direct that airs. You're going to be sitting there waiting, and when they do the Switch click, and you're going to be waiting for when the Switch click is instead a Marvel Snap sound instead.
Oh, Marvel Snap on Switch? See you 2023.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's going to
Yeah.
That's going to give Jake so much anxiety, I know it.
So the official winner for best new mechanic is a snap mechanic in Marvel Snap. So congrats, Jake, to your game. So let's move on to the next category, being what was most worth the wait. So the game that was most worth the wait. Joey, I believe you have a game for this category.
Oh wow, we're already going into Kirby again, because I think it's Kirby and the Forgotten Land. That game, first of all, how long have we been asking for a 3D Kirby game? Like, longer than I've been alive, pretty much, because how old is Kirby now? 30-something years old? And they just now come out with a 3D game, and it was amazing. And as somebody who doesn't really care much for the Kirby series, I was blown away by the Forgotten Land. I thought its 3D platforming mechanics were just so fun and innovative, especially with Mouthful Mode, the best new mechanic of 2022. No dispute there. And I just fell in love with it. And it's kind of my favorite Switch game of 2022. All
right, it was a long wait indeed for a proper 3D Kirby. Do we have any contenders for most worth the wait? No,
I don't think so. I'm with Joey on that one. I put down a potential rebuttal, but it was the same thing. So
wow, we may just be in agreement here then. It is hard to top that 30-year gap between the series appearance and it going 3D.
Yeah.
So all right, we're locking in.
Especially how well it did it too. With how well it did it, it wasn't a rocky start into it. It was a good move into 3D.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I think we gotta lock it in then. Kirby and the Forgotten Land, most worth the wait. Joey, excellent. There you go. You got her win.
Finally, I can be blipped back into the chat.
All right, let's move on to basically the essentially the opposite of that with the most disappointing game, and this is actually a category I'm bringing to the table because I have what I think is another game, Joey, that we had to wait a long time for. Not quite 30 years, but almost half that time. I think about half that time, because I am championing for most disappointing game, Mario Strikers Battle League.
Oh, sing it, Andre, sing it!
This game crushes my soul. I am a huge fan of Mario Strikers. The original game was a complete blast on the GameCube. It really just showed how to make a fun, fast-paced action sport out of soccer. And it's just a great experience. Mario Strikers charged on Wii, I wasn't as big a fan of, but I am more so now after Battle League, which took this simple game idea and overly complicated to the point that I just don't want to play it. It's not that fun. It's too involved to introduce your friends to. Like, there's too many mechanics. It's too complicated. Too little content. Even with the new DLC, it's just not enough. It's just not enough. And after what I think was a 15-year wait, it was so disappointing that after it came out, I have barely gone back to play it, and I've not had much drive to. So, do we have a challenger for most disappointing game of the year?
I have a challenge.
All right, Jake, what is it? Lay it on us.
For a lot of similar reasons, I would like to nominate for most disappointing of 2022, Splatoon 3. Okay. Splatoon 3, a video game that I like. That is a fine video game, but we had Splatoon 2, which was kind of, rushed. We got to meet that Switch launch window. Okay, so it's not that different from Splatoon 1, fine. And then years and years later, finally, the real follow-up, Splatoon 3, and Nintendo just can't figure out how to do a satisfying online service game that prods you to come back in a way that is meaningful. I thought for sure, by now, before the end of the year, Splatoon 3 would have had some big content update that goes, hey, here's a ton of stuff that Splatoon 2 did not have. And what they've offered me so far are weapons that are more of the same, Salmon Run 24/7, and Tricolor Turf War. Good luck getting into it. I feel that Splatoon 3 is really a showcase in things that Nintendo is not good at. And for me, that's why it's the most disappointing, is because I feel like this is Nintendo saying, hey, we're hip, we're modern, we're doing a shooter. We're doing an online shooter. And then this is what they do? Here's our update. It's the chill season. What's a part of it? I don't know. Are you kidding me? Dude, and I think for that reason, it is on the same level, potentially more disappointing than, hey, what's your DLC? Birdo.
Okay, first off, as much as I want to agree with my own points, no one disparages Birdo in this house, all right?
Fair.
I have a quick rebuttal to this.
Yeah.
So, Jake, I mean, I don't disagree. Like, I think Splatoon 3 ultimately doesn't do all that much new and exciting, which is disappointing, especially for a game that came 5 years after the last sequel, which was pretty rushed after the first Splatoon. So for a series that's so fresh to not reinvent it, to barely add anything that really feels fresh is disappointing. But my rebuttal to that is fundamentally, it is still a very sound experience, whereas Battle League actively undermined what made that series great. So that's all I've got. Do we have any other contenders, though, for most disappointing?
I'm loving this back
Yeah.
and forth because it's
Yeah.
I had so many contenders for this category, by the way. I was like, this is a year of heartbreakers, okay? Later I'll put out a 30-minute video about how Gotham Knights did me wrong, okay?
You hyped that up so much too.
Oh man.
Oh, man.
So if we're
right.
if we're doing the jury now,
It's
I would like to
voting
say,
time, yep.
My goodness, you all both had great points because I agree with. As somebody who doesn't play Mario Strikers, I gotta agree with. At first, I agree with Jake, right? Because I play Splatoon 3, and I played it for maybe a week, and then I stopped because it just was. I don't know. There wasn't anything really engaging there. But also hearing about how Mario Strikers Battle League is just so inherently disappointing because of the reasons Andre listed, especially after a 15, 16-year wait. That's gotta sting more, so I gotta give it to Andre.
Yeah, I'm right there too, where I definitely understand the reasons for both being here. Like, I know so many Splatoon fans that were so disappointed by 3 being Splatoon 2.5, as they call it. And I get that. But as a Mario Strikers fan, as someone who has been playing the Mario Strikers series for years, and who loved both of the previous 2 games, even compared to the other Mario Sports titles on the Switch already, Strikers is beyond bare bones in its content. And what was added through each update was like the equivalent of what was added in 1, maybe 2 months to either golf or tennis. But spread throughout like 6 months? It felt like they just didn't know what to do with it. And that's what was most disheartening about it after 15 years. So I am with Andre on this one because that is what I would have nominated as well for this.
Yeah. I would say I have Andre's experience with Battle League, while Splatoon 3 I like and still play, so I'm with Andre on this one.
Okay,
Alright.
Andre, I dropped my sword. I dropped my sword. Mario Strikers Battle League, though I will say, what's better? No single-player campaign or a stupid one? Okay. So it's a toss-up, but I'm happy to see Mario Strikers Battle League get the award for most disappointing.
That's a weird
Congrats.
sentence.
Congrats to Mario Strikers Battle League for winning our most disappointing game of the year. All right, let's move on to our next category. Tom, I believe you have put forth a game for best multiplayer of the year. Tom,
Yeah,
tell us
I
more
look
about
forward to getting destroyed here. I was like, I turned pale and white during the last segment because my best multiplayer goes to Splatoon 3.
Oh,
Jake's. I feel that timing and execution is everything to me. Splatoon 2 is like too early. None of my friends really picked it up at the time around. Splatoon 3 this time, many of my friends have it. I can play with them, enjoy it. Salmon Run available all the time. It's my favorite mode. And they built on it, adding in a King Salmonid Godzilla-like boss that I love from time to time. And I do feel bad for people that might actually like Tricolor and can't get it. That's the same problem with Salmon Run before, but I feel it's kind of a lesser part of the experience compared to Salmon Run, so I don't mind it as much. But it's too bad they still have that FOMO to try to get people back in for multiplayer. And also, of course, the new bosses like Fish Stick, and being able to skip the broadcast is a nice touch. For me, I feel Splatoon 3 will crack into the Smash and Mario Kart rotation with my friends for a few years.
Crack into the rotation.
nice.
Yeah. All right. Do we have any opposition to this? Any counters?
Better be multiverses opposition. I would say.
Yeah, I've got opposition. Does anybody else have opposition?
I do too.
Andre, please take this one. I'm still recovering from what Tom just said.
Okay, we may have to rethink how this voting works. Maybe we can't vote for our own games as our panel's quickly dwindling based on this category.
Right.
But I put forth Among Us VR for Best Multiplayer of the Year.
Dang.
It takes an already solid foundation and makes it so much better by adding proximity voice chat. That's a hot new thing this year. I say new, but it is kind of having resurgence. But it is game-changing for Among Us, where it is amazing to be able to not only hear people as they run around and interact, sometimes you can even hear imposters converse with one another, and that adds a whole new level to it. But on top of that all is the meetings you have now, which just, again, is completely game-changing. No longer you're restricted like simple pre-typed messages or, text-based things. Now you can hear the emotion in people's voices. You can hear them like actively trying to defend themselves or get crushed by the pressure and hear that come out. The anxiety of being accused of the imposter. And of course, I have to mention the fact they can now chase around little children screaming as if you're the imposter. Whether or not you are. It is game-changing. I don't think I've had an experience this engaging in some time, even if there is, of course, the conventional downsides of voice chat, including idiots and morons out there. But I think the good outweighs the bad overall, and it is just such a fun experience. That's not even to mention the whole VR component that really makes it feel all the more intimate, where you can literally point at someone, be like, "You're the imposter, it's you," and it's just amazing. A fantastic game all around.
Wow. Okay. I'll kick off the voting. I've decided my challenger cannot stand up here, and so I'm rescinding my challenge.
Wow.
I gotta say, I was sold on Among Us VR the second Andre said you could hear the emotion in their voices. Literally that paints a world. That is a video game that doesn't exist. You know what I mean? That needs online. That is an experience that cannot be replicated. And
Right.
And I think for best multiplayer game, I feel great about that. So I'm going Among Us VR.
Joey?
Okay, I'm gonna be the chaotic vote and vote Splatoon 3 just to bring it down to Triss. It's all down to Triss now. Let's see what they choose.
I gotta say, I 100% resonated with everything Tom said about Splatoon 3. It's like my same experiences for me. Being the first Splatoon game I actually enjoy. So it actually kept my interest, and for all the reasons Tom mentioned, and I actively play it with my friends. So
Hold on, don't vote yet. Don't vote yet, Tris. Hold on. Let me say something. Hold on. Okay. Don't you think there's a responsibility for an online multiplayer shooter to keep up with its contemporaries in terms of updating content, updating modes, offering something on a technological level? I just feel that Nintendo can't keep up with these things, and I'm looking at a product that is time and place. It's Switch audience. It's the social zeitgeist. It's not the game, because the game is the same.
I don't know if the game is the same because I don't know what it was.
All right.
But I did not like the other Splatoon games.
All right.
But this one I do.
All right. Thank you for hearing me out. Thank you for hearing me out. Okay.
No, and I definitely respect that because it should have more ongoing content, more content to draw people in than it had. But something about it is I like this experience. So I will still vote Splatoon 3 in this case.
Well, thanks to Joey's chaotic vote, it's been settled that Splatoon 3 is the best multiplayer game of the year. So, let's move on to what might be another contentious category, being Best New Pokémon. I imagine there were dozens of new ones in the latest games. So lay it on us. I believe Tristan is the category you put forth. Tell us who you think is the best new Pokemon, and we'll see if there's any challengers to it.
Okay, so there were so many good Pokemon added in Scarlet and Violet, and it was so hard to narrow down because even from the get-go, looking at the starters, people loved Fuecoco and Quaxley and Sprigatito, but then you look at all the other Pokemon they added, and I have to mention that we finally got our first Dolphin Pokemon. And not just our first Dolphin. Its evolution is a superhero. So Palafin. Palafin all the way. I don't know if anyone has rebuttal to that, but as I've recently learned, this Pokemon is apparently also like broken. Like its stats apparently rival that of legendary Pokemon. So not only is it like so well designed, it's also like really, really strong.
Wow. All right. Do we have someone who opposes this, who has their own Pokemon to put forth?
All right, we're talking Pokemon.
Yes.
All right, we're talking Pokemon.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. The best new Pokemon of 2022. It's Palafin, baby! I agree, it's Palafin! That's right!
Yes.
So, I just want to make something clear to everybody here that maybe doesn't know what we're talking about. I'm throwing in our little chat right here on Discord right now. This is Finizen. Okay, we see this? And then this is the evolution. This is the Pokemon we're talking about. This is Palafin. Now, you might look at this and think, are you people psychopaths? That is the same Pokemon. But what's happening here is that it is doing this Clark Kent thing where it's like, oh, there's this superhero Pokemon? It's not me. It's not, I look just like that other dolphin. It's not me. I'm not that dolphin. What are you talking about? And when the Pokemon leaves the party and then comes back into battle, it turns into like this anime Superman All Might type Pokemon. And it's fully doing the Clark Kent glasses going into a phone booth, coming back out thing. That is how you do a Pokemon, baby. Best Pokemon in 2022, 100%, no questions.
The minute I heard dolphin to superhero, it was gonna go to that. Like, honestly.
Yeah, it was not a fair fight in any case, even though we are in full agreement here. All right, it's all like we have no contenders, so it's by unanimous decision. Whatever Pokemon name that was has won best new Pokemon.
Poor Lechonk. If only Lechonk turned into a superhero.
If only. Lechonk is a
that would have been
superhero
incredible.
in our hearts.
All right, time for a new category. This one being championed by Triss, I believe, who is going to put forth a game for best new open world. Best open world. Triss,
man.
what do we have? Why? You sound like you're not convinced of this.
I say oh man that way because you look at open world games, you look at everything that goes on nowadays, everything is trying to be an open world game in its own right. And they're all trying to do very similar things. You look at so many games, they have so many similarities in their mechanics and everything. But what so many of them don't do right, in my opinion at least, is making that world fun to explore. You get maybe 1-2 open world games a year that actually do that. And I loved exploring this strangely designed, expansive world in Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Sure, you can't glide or climb the way you can in many open world games, but this world is so unnatural looking and so strange to navigate that it becomes really rewarding to find like small caves or unique enemies hidden in like quicksand pits, or the smallest turn that you make, you may turn the camera around and realize, oh hey, there's a small cave hidden over here that you never would have seen unless you actually like spun the camera around and went to find it. So despite being an RPG and the world exploration not being something many people think of, I loved exploring this world.
So there we go, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 as our first nominee for this category. Do we have any challengers? Joey.
All right, Joey.
Elden Ring. My goodness.
I haven't heard of this game before.
You've never heard of it. Me either. I just found out about it 5 minutes ago, and I'm already convinced it's the best open world of 2022. My goodness, I haven't felt this immersed and honestly intimidated by an open world since Breath of the Wild. It's still a very different open world from Breath of the Wild. In like Xenoblade's world, you don't climb anything, you don't glide anything either. I've never felt so small in an open world. And not just by the sheer massiveness of it all. You're 20 hours into the game, and then you go into another part of the world that's even bigger, and it's just like, my goodness. And it's a testament also to just how massively intimidating the challenge ahead is. And the way Sonic Frontiers kind of makes mini Sonic levels into an open world. This mixed Dark Souls levels into an open world. It also did it better than Sonic Frontiers, but that's another topic for another day. And to say this is also the first Souls game I've ever beaten is also another testament to just how incredible the open world in Elden Ring is. and I don't think I've ever felt impacted by an open world as much as I have Elden Ring. Not since Breath of the Wild, at least, but yeah.
Any other challengers? No? 'Cause I have one. I have a
Okay.
challenger. So what I've been hearing is intimidation. You're intimidated by this world, okay? Do I want to be intimidated? I don't know. I'm hearing in another JRPG, another slow plotting experience, quicksand pits. Whenever have quicksand pits been used as a perk for a game? I am going to put forth a game that does open world differently than these others, than these challengers, than these initial nominees. This is the game where you can actually roam around the world much quicker than any other. Big Sonic Frontiers, baby! Joe even made part of my argument for me. It has classic 2D levels built into these open world areas, but this game was such a fun thing to, I don't even want to say explore. Explore isn't even what Sonic Frontiers is going for. This game was just fun to roam around in. It doesn't even matter what you're doing. You can be bouncing off springs one moment into a grind rail in the sky. You can fling off of that to some structure like, seemingly a mile away. This is what makes Sonic Frontiers so fun, that it doesn't matter where you're going or what you're doing. It's just fun as you're doing it. And that's why I'm giving it to, that's why I'm putting forth Sonic Frontiers as the best open world game of this year, because it does something no other open world game really does, and that's the fact that I made it every action inherently fun and fast and fun.
It's fun until you have to collect the rest of the memory tokens, and that's all there is to do. Boring.
See, what I did is I just ignored that. I just naturally found them as I'm having fun, just sticking around in the world.
And I do feel like it having a good open world doesn't necessarily mean it's a good, complete, holistic game. And I think that's an important distinction to make. It's not the best open
point.
world game. It's the best open world. Tom, I am torn right now. I'm deliberating. Where is your
Y'all.
head at for this?
How can you be torn? It's Elden Ring.
My head is at for these, like, hearing the different arguments, thinking about which one I'd probably have the most fun in. I'm going with Sonic with Andre's choice.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Oh boy.
So here's the deal. Here's where my head is at. When I think about good open worlds, I think about, are they holistic? Are they lived in? Is there stuff to do besides the one thing? I have played at least a little bit of all three of these video games, so I do consider myself in a unique position. And what I will say is, the open world that left the most meaningful impression on me, I think it's Sonic Frontiers. Here's why. Joey, I'm sorry. Here's why.
The comments are gonna burn you all alive.
That's fine.
I feel like the comment you made about Elden Ring, that's really stuck with me, is I have never felt smaller in an open world. And
He hasn't played Grounded.
Yeah, and I think that that's what Elden Ring is about. I think Elden Ring is about overcoming challenges, and it's about growth and like the different varied environments and seeing those all for yourself and conquering them. It's Elden Ring. I'm sorry. It's Elden Ring. I'm so sorry. I'm a turncoat. It's Elden Ring. I just convinced myself. It's Elden Ring. Joey, you're right. I'm sorry. It's Elden Ring. So here's the deal. Tom, you said Sonic, right?
Yeah.
So I think Xenoblade is out of the discussion. So I think we got to toss it to
Which
Triss.
means, yeah,
And say
I was gonna say, hearing the other two arguments, and this is more so, I have not played as many of the open world games, so I really wanted to hear the arguments for these, for why they're like really, really, convince her this is the best open world, this is the one. Because I've heard so much about both of these games, but never really a good case for why its open world works. So that was actually why I wanted to bring this one in. I appreciate everyone at least listening to me saying
Yes.
Xenoblade, but I knew it wasn't going to. But I think, from everything I've heard here with these, there's really solid reasons to like both of these open worlds. But I think with Elden Rings, it really is largely intimidating, because that's kind of the heart of Dark Souls. That is like the soul of it. It's an intimidation game. The whole game is intimidating. Whereas with Sonic, it's more like they built, seemingly from what I'm hearing, it sounds like they built a world that complements Sonic's speed without being, the roadways. And I think that's a big thing to me, as someone who's seen and play a lot of different Sonic games, but knows throughout the years the world itself is very mixed. This is the first time I'm really hearing where it sounds like the world complements Sonic. It's not just levels made for him to speed through. So I think I'm gonna have to give it to Sonic in this case for tying that.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Comments,
Team Sonic,
burn them
baby.
alive. Burn them alive. You're forgetting the most
This is
important
what
thing,
Dark
though.
Souls does to people. It twists them into these evil entities that just want to burn everyone alive.
Yep.
I'll make the fun statement before anyone else does, because the very obvious one, clearly, Elden Ring is the Dark Souls of open world games. There you go.
All right. So it seems not by unanimous decision, but Sonic Frontiers is our open world game of the year. So thank you, Tris, for doing right by this.
Oh my god.
All right, Joey, we got a category that you're bringing to the table that I think may have a new nominee, perhaps now.
Oh, yeah.
Being best bad game.
Sonic Frontiers.
bad
Like, how dare y'all? I'm just kidding. That's not it. Best bad game is a game I actually reviewed recently. Here's the thing. I gave this game a good score, right? But it's not that good. It's Choo Choo Charles. That game, it's so short. The quests are so, like, absurdly simple. When it's over, it's over. There's really no reason to revisit it again. The mechanics it's just all simple. So simple. Not even a scary horror game. But here's the thing. It was made by one guy. And for a game made by one guy, it's actually really impressive what he managed to do with it. In a sense, it's still not a great game, but it's also still impressive for what was done by one person. If this was a game made by like 5 people, maybe 10 people, I'd be more harsh on it, but just one person.
Joey, what is the best part of Choo Choo Charles?
The Slender Man minigame.
So that's the part that's about a different game.
Exactly. That was actually scary, which was ironic.
Yeah. So just to clarify for, I think, our audience, so for this category, I think it sounds like we're nominating games that on the surface, do have some major issues, but can't amount to more than the sum of its parts, right? Is that kind of like, on a subjective scale, these games kind of like can be better than maybe credited for. Okay. Do we have a challenger to Choo Choo Charles for best bad game? Jake?
I have a challenger.
All right.
The best bad video game of 2022 is Vampire Survivors.
No.
That's
Stop
right.
it.
Vampire
Stop
Survivors is not a good video game. Okay, it is, and let me tell you why. You look up you Google Vampire Survivors review. Here's what you're gonna say. I played Vampire Survivors for so many hours. I got addicted to it. It's so addicting. And that doesn't mean it's good. Okay, like I've eaten a lot of McDonald's M&M McFlurries in my lifetime. That doesn't mean they're good. That means I have a problem. And I think Vampire Survivors is gamers self-reporting that they have a problem. Okay, numbers go up. Okay, all right. Putting aside the fact that the early stages of this game was, obviously got in a little trouble for like stealing assets from other video games. Putting aside that controversy, this is a game. There is nothing about this game that cannot be replicated easily. Okay? People are gonna tell you that this is like, there's an artistry here in the basics of moving, dodging, and attacking. This is moving your control stick. It is a half step above a cookie clicker game. This is a bad video game, but it tastes so damn good. and listen, there is something there. There is a reason that these people like it, just like there's a reason so many people read Twilight. That is what we are talking about here. Another piece of vampire media, mind you. So like there is something here. I think the evidence that there's something here is how many people have played it and enjoyed it and have rallied for it. But it is not a good video game.
Compelling case. Do we have any other challengers for best bad game of the year? No. Okay. So it sounds like it's between Vampire Slayers and Choo Choo Charles.
Vampire Survivors.
Just like-
Comments, don't burn him for that. Burn him for Elden Ring.
Is it Vampire Survivor?
Yeah.
Vampire
Barista
Survivors,
didn't
yeah.
recommend it enough.
Oh man, this is so tough because, yeah, like it is. I mean, I don't like this is so difficult because Jake makes a very compelling argument that it's not a great game, but is it not being addictive and bringing people back part of being a good game?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Because Choo Choo Charles, you're one and done. There's like, and it's 2 hours long, max.
But Joey, after playing Choo Choo Charles, I bet you something stayed with you about that game. The only thing that stays with you after a session of Vampire Survivors is indigestion. All right, you might enjoy it at the time, but you look back and it's just a blurry mess of bad visuals. Look up a screenshot of Vampire Survivors. Absolute trash.
I don't even
All right.
know if I disagree with you.
I have to, I do have to say, I think Jake put forth a compelling argument for Vampire Survivor. I have played a bit of Choo Choo Charles. I'm a little bit biased in that sense, but I actually don't think Choo Choo Charles is all that bad. I think there's a lot of missed potential there, but I think it accomplishes a lot, as Joey said, given it's especially one person. And I don't know if I would even classify it as a bad game. It has bad elements. I don't think it's a bad game. So based on, I think I do have to go with Jake on this one myself. How about you, Tris?
Yeah, I think I'm mostly with you there, Andre, on siding with Jake for that one, just because everything I've seen of Choo Choo Charles, it's silly, but that doesn't mean it's bad necessarily. It's been like mixed reviews, I know, or mostly negative reviews, but as you even mentioned, Joey, like it is more of a feat that one person created it, as silly of a game as it is. Whereas Jake does bring up a good point where addiction being the most memorable part of a game that keeps bringing people back to it is not necessarily a good thing, but people enjoy the game. So, yeah.
Tom?
Yeah, I think, when a bad game, it's like bad, but you can enjoy it. Choo Choo Charles, being a solo developer, I don't want to take a giant dump on it. I know Joey said it's a one-way ticket, but it sounds like he tried many new things.
I didn't use that line in my review. Damn it.
I'd kind of give you a few pointers. And Jake's explanation of Vampire Survivors, it's kind of like my experience when I was trying it in the last couple of weeks, where it's like, hey, at first it's not good. Well, let me give it a few minutes. Like, oh, I'm addicted. And it's like, why is the grass tiles like not repeating smoothly? And I'm just a zombie at the end of the day here when I'm about to sleep, but I keep playing this game and have fun. But it's like, I'm getting nothing from this, although I just want to keep going. So I think in that terms, I'll give Vampire Survivors best bad game.
All right, sounds like it's decided. Best bad game of the year is Vampire Survivor. So
Joey, Choo Choo Charles is too good. It's too good. And Vampire Survivor, you know what else is addicting? Nicotine. And that's what Vampire Survivors is.
Yeah.
Okay?
But you hear that, Andre? Fortnite's not a good game. Jake said it.
I
Are you not even addicted to that game? That's fine.
I'm not listening. Oh, I see. Yeah, I guess I am. So, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about this.
No, Fortnite is a good game. I never said that.
No, Andre can just look at his dad's addiction and be like, no, I'm okay.
That's true. We can talk to my mom about addiction.
Sins of the father.
All right, moving on. We have another category being put forth by, I believe, Jake for Best Dog of the Year in video games. Jake, tell us about this best dog.
Okay, I must appeal to the council, and I must ask, is my dog Chip, aka J. Edgar Chippingsley, is he viable for the position of best dog? No, I'm seeing a lot of head shakes already, so maybe no. But I think the true...
I don't know, maybe.
Okay, the true best video game dog is Charlie from Marvel's Midnight Suns. Okay. Now I recognize a lot of you might not know who is Charlie from Marvel's Midnight Suns. So I'm gonna drop a photo in our chat right now. There it is. Oh my god. Why? How is this the best dog? This disgusting, scary demon creature. Well, that's him. That's him when he's in battle mode. When you go back to your little hidey hole and you're hanging out with Marvel superheroes, you can hang out with this chilled version of Charlie, just hanging out, being a sweetie pie. And here's my why I believe Charlie is the best dog in Marvel's in video games in 2022. When you are playing Marvel's Midnight Suns and you go over and you hit the pet command, and you pet Charlie, PNGs of little hearts come out of him. And it is so stupid looking that it's amazing. And I think something that people miss about Marvel's Midnight Suns is that it is channeling an era of comic book history that was way campier than comic books and superhero media right now. That's the time period that they're basing all of their story and their superheroes on. And I feel the interactions with this dog are so hilariously campy. It's like, yeah, I'm just a cool little demon dog hanging out in our house. It's go time? Like, it's just, dude, it's just awesome. And you're just like cool with it the whole time. You're like, no, you're a sweet little cutie. It's awesome. So that's it. Charlie, Midnight Suns, best video game dog 2022.
Do we have any contenders to this category?
I have a potentially jokey rebuttal, and I say potentially jokey because the reception to this will determine.
Only serious
if it's
entries
real or
allowed,
not.
Tris. So.
Yeah, what are you talking about? What are you,
No. So Jake, I'm partially surprised with how big you are into this one game. You didn't bring up this literal dog character you could play as in Multiverses. Jake the dog literally shares your name.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. He's a traitor to the name.
I only nominate him because no matter when I play, I always lose to him. So obviously he's a good dog.
Little freak.
All right.
I cannot beat him.
Was there a dog in Kirby and the Forgotten Land?
There was. I was going to bring this up as a counter.
Please
but
do, because I don't.
All right.
The fact that I barely remember him, I shouldn't even be nominating.
Okay, sorry, Tom. I can jump ahead of you here.
Yeah.
I am putting forth, I think you pronounce it, a Woofy from Kirby and the Forgotten Land, a
Woofies.
brand new enemy type to the game who's adorable. He even features in some of the cutscenes, and he's just a cute little puppy. And even though, and the game, for whatever reason, the game, like, I think tells you how many of these guys you've murdered, which is horrible, because why do you want to murder any of them? They're so cute and cuddly, and they're perhaps one of the best additions to Kirby enemy-wise, and he's unforgettable. He's an adorable little puppy guy.
So, that's a good and all, and I love those ones when they're sleeping on the ground, but wouldn't a dog be a million times better if it had a grappling hook? I am talking about Pablo from Grapple Dog, who has free-forming platforming with a grappling hook and the ability to swim, as well as DK and tropical freeze with the little twirls and stuff even. Super smooth, super fun. Why restrict dogs to just ones that you pet? I am championing Pablo from Grapple Dog.
I've been convinced.
Counterpoint. This dog is wearing human clothes. I don't know about that, Tom. I don't know about any of this anymore. I just something to consider.
All right, so I think the only person who didn't put forth a dog, although maybe by proxy with the Kirby one, would be Joey. Joey, what are you thinking right now?
Well, since I haven't lost to Tom at all, I'm gonna vote.
That can't be a factor.
But also,
Everything, it's a game within a game.
also the dog.
There's no
has
meta.
The dog has a grappling hook. You had me there. So there you go.
He's not even a dog.
Too bad.
He's just. Oh my god. All right.
Yeah,
Too bad.
Tom swayed me over from my own nominee. I got to go
Give it-
and then Tropical Freeze. Yep.
Karma.
My joke nominee aside to give an actual vote on this. I actually really like the design of the dog in Jake's Midnight Suns, in Marvel's Midnight Suns. I really like the design of it and the idea of it's vicious in some ways and helping you, or very cute when you're just hanging out. Yeah, I'm sold on that.
I appreciate your sword, Tris, but we've got to give it to Grapple Dog.
Grapple Dog is the official winner for Best Dog of 2022. So
Congrats,
Grapple Dog. All right, let's move on to another new category, being Best Non-Video Game. Hold on. Best non-video game thing. So I think this means it's not a video game in and of itself. It's something adjacent to video games. Jake, tell us what your first nominee is so we can better understand what this category actually is.
So this was a category that I brought up because I wanted a venue to talk about this book that is on my bookshelf facing out in the background of all of my videos, and it has been like this whole year. And this book is called Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. It's a new novel by Gabrielle Zevin, and it's like a legitimate piece of literary fiction, a love story between these two friends, and it is constantly concerned with video games. They create video games together. They make a video game studio in the book, and they're always referencing different video games. And just as a testament to this And it does it in a way that's not cringe, and it's also not like a plot device.
So it's not Ready Player 1 or 2.
No,
Yeah,
no.
so that's the thing. I'm like, it sounds much better than Ready Player One already.
And that's the thing. It is legitimately just involved in the world of this era, kind of mid-90s era video games. And just the first sentence of the book, just to paint a world, to give you all an idea of the kind of quality I'm talking about. Before Mazer invented himself as Mazer, he was Samson Mazer. And before he was Samson Mazer, he was Samson Maser. A change of 2 letters that transformed him from a nice, ostensibly Jewish boy to a professional builder of worlds. And for most of his youth, he was Sam, S-A-M, on the Hall of Fame of his grandfather's Donkey Kong machine. But mainly, he was Sam. Okay. So that's just the first sentence of the book. And I'm not kidding you when it's like these 2 characters that like are the main characters of the book, they run into each other and it's like, oh, dude, my buddy that I played Oregon Trail with, remember when you died of diarrhea? That was hilarious. Like, and it's just like little things like this where sometimes it's something really obvious that a general audience would get, and sometimes it's references that it's like, they're references to Metal Gear and things like that. Like, and aside from all the video game stuff, this is the best book I read this year easily. Wow. So like, I just wanted to give this book its flowers tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. Huge fan.
Wow. Well, will it make me cry?
Oh, Joey, there are turns in this book that like sent out some mass texts because of this book. Could not believe where it went. Couldn't believe it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
All right. Well, that seems like a tough one to top. Do we have any contenders for this category?
I do.
All right, Joey.
Look, I'm not all. That was so good, Jake. Right?
Yeah.
But I like Sonic.
You wouldn't know it. You would not know it.
Right.
Earlier conversations today.
Seriously, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 came out on my birthday. Like technically the day after, but you know, no movie ever comes out day of. It's always day before, right?
Right.
Went to see it on my birthday. Religious experience for me. Like, my good, Andre's all doubting me, right? Like, I'm sorry the games
I'm
haven't
not doubting. I'm concerned.
Wow, okay. I'm sorry the games haven't really made me too happy lately, but that movie was so good. And the after credit scene, man. The after credit scene. Seriously. Your book sounds infinitely better, right? But this is my pick for best. This is my personal choice for best non-video game thing of 2022.
I hear you. There's no post-credit scene in a book. I get that.
Not yet. I'll invent
Yeah,
it.
I get that.
I'll write a book.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, there can be epilogues, right?
Sure,
That kind of
sure.
counts. Do we have any other contenders or challengers to this category? Tom?
I have just one I wanted to point out. I will admit that, Jake, that book sounds interesting. Maybe I will order it tomorrow. Joey, I also liked Sonic 2. You know, Jim Carrey, relevant again, kind of.
He's Canadian.
I enjoy that. He's Canadian. I think that's good right now, unlike Justin Bieber.
Oh, no. Tom's Canadian, so we can say that. It's okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, for me, though, best non-video game thing is Sakurai's YouTube channel because, hey, not only do we get to see more of Sakurai instead of
man.
nothing for years, they're full of
man.
fantastic game design insight from his decades of experience. He also did one on his cat, and he even teased the Kid Icarus remake, and they are short and snappy. That's my pick.
My goodness.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a really good one.
There's no shame in losing to Sakurai. I understand. I understand.
All right.
I understand.
Well, I do have
Andre?
a challenger for this category as well.
You're all
You can't say Avatar Way of the Water. It doesn't count.
Don't tell me what I can or that cannot do.
He's even got the blue water-like reflection behind him.
That's true. I'm underwater as we speak, actually. I've been holding my breath the entire time. This is for something that's not even out yet.
Oh.
But it's got me so excited. The initial trailer for the Mario movie. This is finally delivering something I've been wanting my entire freaking life, which is a true to the game's Mario experience. And it seems like they're delivering on all fronts. Whether or not that actually ends up happening is immaterial at this point. The fact right now is we have the promise of it possibly happening, and that's enough for me. And even though I might ultimately side with Tom's vote on this one, or Tom's nominee, I think the Mario movie just deserves an acknowledgement for what it seems to be accomplishing right now, which is the impossible of not only being a faithful to the game's Mario movie, another form of Mario media, but also possibly a good movie in and of itself, which is something that I feel like we may have had it a few times, but every time I look back at the few contenders, I'm like, those actually weren't that good. So I'm hoping the Mario movie will be the one to buck the trend and actually be a good video game movie.
Oh my god.
Tell us how you really feel about Joey's nominee.
Right? Jesus. I kid you not. I was thinking of putting not the first Mario movie trailer, but the second one. Even though
Oh, really?
I really liked that second movie trailer. But I was thinking
was
of
good.
putting Sonic because it actually came out this year, and you know Mario's probably going to take next year's, right? But I just love it. At the end of both trailers, it says coming April 7th, which is also my birthday. Well, I don't know what Hollywood's
Oh my
doing
God.
releasing these movies on my birthday, but thank you.
Go ahead, Jake. Yes.
Just quick rebuttal. While there's no shame in losing to Sakurai, there is shame to losing to that fat Italian plum. So just really quick. The Mario movie does not fill me with the same kind of joy. If anything, it makes me sad. Okay? Because I look at the Mario movie and what I see is, oh man, I wish Nintendo's games looked that good. And they
Fair
never
enough.
will. We look inside Peach's castle and I go, wow, must be nice. and that's what it does to me. All right? That's
see
what
those-
yeah.
I see those ray trace reflections in that
Yeah.
Mario movie clip, and I'm like, if only.
The Mario movie is the ultimate argument for a Switch 2 at this
Yeah.
point. So,
Seriously.
There we go. All right, I think we basically all had a nominee. Is it down to Triss, I think, to
Yep,
decide
it
then?
is down to me. Oh man. No pressure, of course. Obviously. No, I am going to dismiss Mario movie as excited as I am for it, because I agree with Joey. It's not out yet. It's probably going to take it next year. So where I'm kind of at right now is between Jake's book pitch that literally sold me on getting the book, and Joey's on Sonic, because I loved Sonic the Hedgehog too. As much as I want to pick Sakurai for this, Tom, because I really did enjoy, I really do enjoy, like, all of Sakurai's videos are fascinating. There's a different energy about it. His is so much more educational, and I really do like that. And for what I'm looking for this award here, what I'm thinking of here, I'm thinking more about the entertainment side, specifically.
Cat episode didn't do it for you.
Listen, as a game developer myself, I love Sakurai's videos. I think I'm gonna have to go with Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh.
Because
Okay.
what I loved about that movie specifically is that it didn't just adapt a game's story. It took the game's characters and it set up something new with it and interesting, and I think it did a much better job of being a Sonic story than the first movie did.
Andre, are you willing to lay down your sword with me?
But, Jake, I mean, you made a very compelling argument. So
Yeah.
you almost had me, but Tom introduced a viable challenger to it. And as I teased during my own presentation of my own challenger to it, I'm defecting for my own point. I gotta go with Tom's Sakurai YouTube channel.
I
which is
agree.
such a-
I'm defecting as well. I'm defecting as well. I'm defecting. No, I can't.
Okay.
The Sonic movie cannot take this. It cannot take this.
Wow.
Propping up Stunt Race FX up here really paid off for me today.
All right,
goodness.
well, there
Okay.
you go, everyone. Congrats to Sakurai's YouTube channel for being our best non-video game thing of the year. Yeah, it's definitely check it out if you haven't already. It's full of insight, especially if you're an indie developer like Tom and.
But oh
Chris
my
are,
god,
so-
check out that book. I haven't read
That
it,
book
but
sounds
it
great.
sounds amazing.
I will be checking out that book.
It's legitimately actually a good book. The prose is not super high. Anybody can read it. Highly recommend. Please check it out.
I'm definitely picking up that book, yeah.
Same.
Moving on, we have another category in the form of Best Port of the Year. Triss, I believe you have I believe you're representing a game in this case.
Yes. Shocker for those that know me, but I want to put up Persona 5 Royal for this one. The fact that finally a Persona game, or more than just a Persona game, but the now biggest Persona game, most popular Persona game that had been the original version had been nominated for Game of the Year. This is now available multi-platform for a much wider audience, no longer restricted to just PlayStation. Something that people have been asking for pretty much every Persona game, honestly. Just a wider audience of people asking for it with each game. And the fact that this port is better than the original release of Royal. All of its DLC, which normally is like more than the price of the game itself, for a bunch of cosmetics and extra battles, that's all included. Like right in the box at the normal price. that if you aren't playing on Switch or like Steam or on PlayStation again, it was also on Game Pass. Most accessible way to play a fantastic game that is one of my all-time favorites. So I had to champion Persona 5 Royal for best port of the year.
I have a rebuttal though. Alan Wake on. I'm kidding. I can't argue with Persona. I cannot argue with that at all. I haven't played this port yet, just because I really don't have the time to get into like a beefy text-heavy RPG like that.
Yeah.
But it's installed on my Xbox one of these days, right?
Nice.
Does anybody have a challenger to this?
No, I don't.
Okay, sounds like it's by default Persona. What was it? Persona 5?
Yeah, Persona 5 Royal.
Persona 5. Okay,
Yep.
great. Persona 5 Royal. Congrats to it for for being the only nominee in this case. So.
Right.
All right, we have I think 2 categories left. Next up, we have Best Microtransaction, which Jake, I believe, has a nominee for.
Dropping it in the chat right now. We are going to the sweet, sweet game of Fortnite, baby. And I'm telling you all about Toon
Mr. Beast.
Peely. No. Oh, God, it made me sad. Toon Peely. So Toon Peely. Toon Peely is you take the all-time great Fortnite character Peely, the banana, and you send him through the Kingdom Hearts transmogrifier into the old classic Disney style. I love Peely. I feel like we gotta give Fortnite a shout out for having these meaningless microtransactions all year that make headlines. Maybe it's not Toon Peely for you. Maybe it's Goku. You know what I mean? But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's the Fortnite microtransaction is appropriately priced, completely optional, and oftentimes a fun reward. So for me, it's basically anything in Fortnite. My personal favorite, Toon Peely, baby.
All right, that's a good argument. Do we have any challengers to this?
I do have a challenger to this.
All right, Tris.
And it's what I thought Jake was gonna go with originally, and that's Multiversus. Because the character skins, the amount of content you can get in Multiversus through microtransactions that don't affect like any sort of gameplay. They're not pay to win in any way. You know, look at like Smash, for example, the DLC. People always complain about pay to win. It's all like really special character skins or cosmetics that enhance the player's experience with the game and their enjoyment with the game, but doesn't actually affect the gameplay side of it. And I thought for sure you were gonna go with this one, Jake, because of like all the Superman skins.
I have the Achilles heel for this argument, unfortunately, and it's the reason I did not bring this up. So Tris, you are correct. The character variants in Multiverses are amazing and impressive. Oftentimes have whole new voice actors, and that's so cool, and how much they talk to each other and blah blah blah. But like, look at this Batman skin. This is classic animated series Batman. Great skin. That skin is 20 doll hairs. I don't think so, Multiverses. And there is no way to earn a currency in the game that you can spend on that you can get the premium skins with. So it is just, no matter how much you play the game, locked behind this aggressively high price. I don't think so. Can't support it. Get out of here.
Now, I would completely bat that argument if the game itself wasn't free to play. And I'm not buying every skin anyway, but that is a very valid argument.
Listen, I hear that the game is free to play argument, but if you had a way to earn that currency in the game, even if it took you forever, that would encourage your players to engage with the game more and probably lead you to earning more money, because at the end of the day, what you want is engagement. True. So I understand it's like, oh, we've got to give these developers money somehow, but there's ways to do it. There is a non-premium currency in the game right now that you can pretty much only use to buy the new characters that come out. Why not let me waste that currency on a costume so that when you release the new character, I have to buy the currency to get the character? Like, it's not, the microtransactions are not thought out, and I bet you before the end of 2023, it will change. They will change. They will change them. They will change.
Oh,
because
now I'm curious
everybody,
on that.
no, in the community, we're not in. We're not in on these microtransactions.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's between those two options. We have Multiverses and Fortnite. Where are we leaning, everyone?
I gotta go with Fortnite, just because Jake's argument is compelling and he's really into it.
Yeah.
Tom?
Okay. For me, I find it strange with Batman a character all about justice that being sold as a crime for $20 in a very expensive sounding free-to-play game. I like Jake's tentpole of Toon Peely. That's like a singular special thing compared to like the general idea in multiverses. I'm going with Jake's choice in this case.
Yeah, I think I agree for all of those reasons. So the winner is Fortnite for best microtransaction, specifically Toon Peely. A character that actually aggravates me every time I get killed by him. So.
It's okay, Jake. Right. I'll lay down mine for you anyway. You convince me against my own.
Moving on to our final category. It's from Tom, I believe, who has a nominee for best indie game you've never heard of before, or probably haven't heard of before. Tom, lay it on us.
Yeah, probably. It's hard to go on my list. I'm like, there's probably games I've played that are bigger indie games that many people haven't heard of. Like I talk to my brother about games sometimes. He's like, nope, I haven't heard of it. It's just the way it goes. So, you've probably heard of the creator in this case. The game I have chosen is on Playdate. It is called Zipper by a person you might have heard of, Bennett Foddy. You play as a swordsman in Japan, taking on a castle of enemies. In the game, it works by it's a room by room basis. It's on a grid. You kind of plot your course, and if you move on the grid and go past another enemy, you slice them, you take them down with your sword. But if you kind of go in the wrong spot, they get you, and you die instantly, having to restart at the beginning. Part of the great fun of this game too is the sound design. It's kind of almost like a Zen-like sound design to it. Really good sound, what you wouldn't expect on a small handheld console. Great dialogue at times that adds a ton of characters to the game. Like when you get killed by a guy, one of the fun lines today I had was, haha, look at his hat. It's fun. It adds a lot of personality to the game. So that is the best indie game you probably haven't heard of from my year. It's called Zipper by Bennett Foddy. It came with Season 1 on Playdate.
Great. Do we have any other contenders for this or challengers for this category?
I do.
Joey, go ahead.
There's this little game on Xbox Game Pass that came out last month called Somerville, which got a decent amount of promotion, but like it went dark for a while and then it just came out. I haven't heard a lot of people talk about this game. It's cinematic AF, I will say that. Even though there's no dialogue in it whatsoever. It's kind of a lot like Limbo and Inside, where there's no dialogue and it's all environmental puzzles. But in this game, you play as a father who's trying to find his wife and child in the midst of an alien invasion. And playing this game with a headset on was wow. If we had a category for like most cinematic game of the year, this would probably take it hands down. Yeah.
Really? That level?
That level. Like, my goodness. Having it with you gotta play it with a headset on, though. And it's a really short game, too. You can play it in a night, which is what I did over the course of 2 nights, though, because my schedule, right? But just, I like, jumped because some of the sounds were just so, like, not only loud, but they were clear, and they were very just, it was like sitting in an IMAX theater. Like, it was really interesting. Definitely check it out on a Game Pass. It's a very short game, it's worth playing at least once.
Huh?
Wow.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay, great. Any other contenders for this category?
I
Chris?
do have one. I played this game back at PAX East earlier this year at the Thunderful booth, and I didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I did. And that's The Last Hero of Nostalgaia. Not nostalgia, as many people say. This game is a Dark Souls clone that mocks Souls-like games. It is a fourth wall breaking game that is inherently silly, with a narrator that is mocking you through the entire adventure, that plays like Dark Souls while also constantly playing jokes on Dark Souls. It's cartoony, it's silly, you play as a stick figure character because the narrator does not want to render you out because he is angry at you for being the hero. It's very in your face about it, but it's very silly, and it even has co-op. It's a really fun experience that I know, like, over the summer it was getting promotion and people were really excited about it. It released this past fall, but I didn't really hear much buzz about it releasing, to the point where I didn't even realize it released until some weeks later. So, yeah, I have to nominate Last Hero of Nostalgaia. If you like Souls-likes at all, and like humor in games, definitely worth checking out.
Cool. All right, hold up, Tris. A point of order here, I guess, or a technicality. Mm-hmm. You played at PAX East. You enjoyed it a lot. Have you played it since?
Yes.
Oh, cuts deep.
Okay, you did. Okay,
yeah.
So you finished it.
Yeah. Well, I haven't
good,
finished
all
it
right.
yet. I only recently got it. Like, I'm still in the middle of it, but I'm enjoying it.
I'd say it counts.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, just making sure. All right.
Really quick contender. Just want to, you can't hate on giving love to these games nobody's heard of apparently. Just want to shout out. I was a teenage exocolonist. Anybody hear of this?
I have
I've heard of this,
That
yes.
that was nominated for Games of Impact, right? At the Game Awards.
Was it? Oh, I'm
I think
not
it
sure,
was.
but it was.
So instantly disqualified then, right?
Disqualified. Never mind.
I think Jake. I think you could still talk with him. I don't think
Right,
a lot of
I
people
don't-
know about this game.
I didn't even know
So
about
really,
this.
really
Yeah.
quick pitch of what the game is that you're on this spaceship and your family is going to set up the first colony on another planet, and the game takes place over 10 years, and it's kind of like it has some dating sim elements, a lot of like gay and trans themes in it, but what the actual game comes down to is this really cool kind of like RPG card game, and the cards are events you accrue from over this character's life. So anytime a totemic event happens in your character's life, it becomes a card that then is played in this card game that you actually like do in the game. It's really cool. Love the story. The card game is actually really fun too. I was a teenage exocolonist. I recommend.
Nice.
It reminded me, when you get cards, it reminded me of the Game of Life, like a board game.
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, so that's what, 4 contenders?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang. Well, assuming everyone is sticking with their own, I guess that comes down to me then. And I think Joey may have given the most interesting or compelling argument for their game, or this is the one that cooked me the most, which was, I think, Somerville. Is that
Yes.
what it was called?
Yeah.
All right. So is there anyone that wants to defect in order to...
I'm defecting. I'm going to Somerville as well. Joey said that thing about the cinematic experience, and that I will now be. That's on Game Pass. I think I'm going to be
Yes.
downloaded. Yeah, I'm going to
Nice.
download. Yeah.
All right. Well,
right.
I think that decides it then, right?
Great.
That it's Somerville being our best indie game you haven't heard of for 2022. All right, and that wraps it up. That is all of our category awards for 2022. I think we had some good picks here. I hope we'll see what the chat thinks. We'll see what the commenters think, whether they agree or not. Let us know in the comments below. And of course, we're not done here yet because we have part 2 coming up of our games of the year, including our top 3 personal games for each of us coming up very soon. So stay tuned for that. With that, everyone, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you later. Bye.